Roxy put a doodle personality test out. Did y'all get a copy of it? So go ahead, take it home and see what you're all about. So it'll be kind of fun, right? And then you can find out a little bit more about yourself. Because the last one we did, I'm like, really? Cool. It was great. Okay, so all of a sudden I was running out the door and Spirit's like, go get your Goldsmith book. And I'm like, really? Okay. So I ran back and I picked up my, I have like 30 of Joel S. Goldsmith because I love his teaching. Fantastic. Anyway, so of course I found a joke in there from one of my talks.
Oh.
I know, this one.
That was the wisdom in the book.
Yeah. When I was in ministerial school, Dr. Mark would go, give me all your jokes because I use them every Sunday. So it was great. Anyway, he's Dr. Mark Vieira down in North Hollywood. Okay, so this one is called The Cab Picks Up a Nun. She gets into the cab and notices that the very handsome cab driver won't stop staring at her. She asks him why he is staring. He replies, I have a question to ask you, but I don't want to offend you. She answers, my son, you cannot offend me. When you're as old as I am and have been a nun as long as I have, you get a chance to see and hear just about everything. I'm sure that there's nothing you could say or ask that I would find offensive. Well, I've always had a fantasy to have a nun kiss me, she responds. She responds, well, let's see what we could do about that. Number one, you have to be single, and number two, you have to be Catholic. The cab driver is very excited, says, yes, I'm single and I'm Catholic. Okay, the nun says, pull into the next alley. The nun fulfills his fantasy with a kiss that would make a hooker blush. But when they get back on the road, the cab driver starts crying. My dear child, says the nun, why are you crying? Forgive me, but I've sinned. I lied and I must confess. I'm married and I'm Jewish. The nun says, that's okay. My name is Kevin and I'm going to a Halloween party. Is that cool?
Interesting is the United Hookers.
Oh my gosh, right? It's so great. That is so funny. Okay, so my talk today is called Up-Leveling Your Success, but I want to do it based on what we need to do in order to use, number one, the principles of science of mind, or I'm going to say the cool things that we learn in science of mind, because it's just truths. I don't even want to call it principles. They're just truths. And a lot of them are, throughout all of them, they call it new thought. It's not new thought, it's old thought. But it's throughout all of the different writers, okay? So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was how, you alluded to it earlier, Darylyn, and I was thinking about, I have a tenant, she's going to be moving, so now I've got to write my list out about what I want, the qualities of the new person coming in. Because if you want to have success, get really clear about your vision. I was talking to Denise earlier, and she had her vision for 2019, right, Roxy, on yesterday?
Yes.
And she creates a little board, and it's called a soul collage. And what that does, it gives you a way to move forward. I know that, Joanne, probably you have to write down your goals, right, what you guys want to have. And it's the same thing with our lives. Everything here, everybody wants something, right? So I was thinking, well, duh, I just need to write down what I need as far as different areas that I want to enhance. So maybe you want to grow your business. Maybe you want to have a girlfriend. Maybe you want to have a boyfriend. Or maybe you want to get rid of your boyfriend. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But it's to create and use what the qualities are that you desire. So it's interesting. I was reading this story on the internet. It's exactly how this person was so focused, and it's a great story. So there was a professor in a college, and he was an atheist. And he would dare anybody, any of the kids, and this was over the last 22 years. I don't know if you've seen this. So he says, if you can prove that God exists, then stand up. And the kids were so afraid to stand up because he would say, you're stupid, that's just ridiculous, why would you even believe something like that? So so this young man who was Christian, and he really believed in God and had many miracles happen for himself, and he really had a deep faith. And he thought, oh God, he's praying, oh, I'm going to stand up, but you got to help me, because the test was, the professor kept saying, if God really exists, then when I drop this chalk on the ground, it won't break, right, on a tile floor. And so every year, I'll see, because God doesn't exist. I'm like, what a bone. Okay, that guy is crazy. Anyway, but this young man, he said, you know what? I know God exists, so I'm going to pray. And dear God, I'm going to stand up, and I know what's going to happen. So please just take care of it. I'm just going to turn it over to you. So finally the day comes, and it's the end of the semester, and the young man stands up. And of course, the professor looks at him, you're stupid, why do you believe in God? God doesn't exist, that's just ridiculous. And he goes, watch. And he drops the chalk, it falls across his shirt, rolls down his pants, and rolls across the floor and doesn't break. He was so shocked, he ran out of the room. And the young man lectured to the people about having faith and what it could do for your life. Isn't that amazing? Because this professor, it just shattered his whole world. Isn't that incredible? But that's the power that prayer has, and the power of our belief. And so really it's about, if you want to be successful, we have to believe, and we have to know, and we have to feel it, right? So I was watching, again, I love watching these biographies, and I was watching one on Patti LaBelle. Y'all know Patti LaBelle is? So I had no idea that she was the LaBelle in all those songs they did, and they were like, so did you know they opened for the Rolling Stones? Did you know that? And I'm going, what? And then do you know who their piano player was? Elton John. And I'm, what? I mean, it was like, are you kidding me? And that was in the days before he became really big and famous. But, they would tour, and she says, she goes, I've got an idea, girls, because they all wore these wild costumes, go look on YouTube if you don't know who LaBelle is. But they would wear all these crazy outfits, because she says, 3 black women just getting up and singing, that ain't gonna cut it. This is Patti LaBelle. She goes, we gotta market ourselves. So that's what they did. And it was really how she felt intuitively they would have more success, and so they did. So she had another thought, and I call it a God thought, and she says, how about, girls, let's play Carnegie Hall. And they go, why not? And so she contacts the whoever it is at Carnegie Hall. They set up a concert. It was sold out. Cher shows up, and all these people wearing their crazy Kiss, and she says, we were wearing all that stuff before Kiss, before everybody else. She says, we set the trend. And I thought, dang, they really did. Because they really knew that if they were different, they would stand out and people would remember it. Not only that, they were fabulous, right? If you hear the music, they were just really, really good. The other thing that happened for her to, help her up-level her success, when she was first a little girl, she was extremely shy. And her mother pushed her into singing at the church. And what helped her to really become more successful as a singer is that she tried out at the church choir, and the choir director goes, oh, no, you got to be up in front. You're not going to be in the choir. Your voice is that good. And she acknowledges that teacher or that choir director with her success, because she listened to her. She kept saying, come on, let's go. And she kept saying, I found my calling. I started singing. I knew I'd be singing the rest of my life. It was incredible. And the other thing that she did in order to help her achieve more success is that she was engaged to one of the Temptations. And he said, oh, well, you're going to have to stop singing. And Patti LaBelle goes, stop singing? Are you kidding me? So she broke the engagement off, because she says she was in love with the Temptations. She said the man was nice, but it was more the whole glamour of it all, and she really got clear about that. And then what really helped her to move forward and to listen to her intuition, how many of you listen to your intuition and follow it? Yeah, because when we do, what happens? And the more we practice it and the more that we go with it, the more that, Spirit's like, atta girl, atta boy, And that's what happens, is because then it's like we get like all this confirmation and it gets stronger and more powerful, doesn't it? Okay, so I'll finish a little bit, Patty LaBelle, but I just gotta say, so I said to Barbara, I'm gonna get you a carrot cake. So I go up to my favorite place to go get it, and they were out. And I'm like, oh, I've gotta get that carrot cake, come on now, God. And so then I get a hit to go drive across town, and I didn't even call, I just knew it was there. I walked in the store, there it was. Okay? So it's like following it, and even if that hadn't worked out, it's good because it's a practice, isn't it? And it's good because when we pray for something, we've got to be aware of it and know that it's going to happen for us. Because if we don't, how are we going to build our faith? You've got to just play with it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And maybe it didn't work because it wasn't exactly rightful. Maybe it wasn't for our highest and best good, right? Has that ever happened for you? You're praying, oh, I really want something, and it doesn't work, and you go, oh, thank God it didn't do that, because that's what happens, is then we realize that maybe I need to alter a little bit, or maybe our soul is telling us to go another direction, right? And that's it, yeah.
This or something better.
This or something better. Because I was talking to my tenant who is moving out. She's been there 2.5 years. And I thought, okay, I'm going to just practice what we teach here and put down the qualities that I want. But this or something better. And I want God's vision for that rental. Okay? I want God's vision for my life. How many of you want God's vision? Because of myself, you know, I can do nothing. God is a doer within that does the works. And that's the one I used to say all the time. We would have a study group when I was at Agape, and I'd go and meet with Forenza, Forenza, you're not here, but you're here. And we would take statements of truth. So you may call them, you know, oh, quotes in the Bible, and it's like, no, they're powerful. They're powerful because, you know, it's like if you've got a thing against the Bible, don't throw it out, because there's a lot of wisdom of whoever wrote that. And whether you believe God wrote it, well, God did write it, because we're all moving through ourselves as God. But what that wisdom came through those individuals that wrote that, there's so many beautiful wisdom quotes in there, isn't there? Okay, because we don't teach that, but I would use it, and it's so potent and powerful. And that's one of my quotes that I use. Do you have any quote that you say, doesn't have to be on the Bible, that you really enjoy, that you've used in your life? Anybody that you say all the time? Yeah, say.
God always helps me, God is taking care of it.
Yeah, God always helps me.
And God is taking care of it.
And God is taking care of it. There you go. Yes.
Aristotle, no excellent mind is exempt from the mixture of madness, which is the genius caveat.
Oh my gosh. And if you feel that and you believe that, that's awesome. Because then you're a genius, aren't you? He does beautiful artwork, by the way. So I think that's working for him, which is great. But it's really about doing that. And I found something, and I also pulled something up because I thought, oh, this would be kind of fun, about how to enhance and increase our success as far as our spiritual life. And in a minute, I'll ask you guys what you feel about that. But this is from a website called Mind Body Green. And she had 3 things, and it was about 6 spiritual steps. Don't you love steps? I'm going to give you 6 steps, and then I'll finish with Patty LaBelle. Okay, so success doesn't necessarily mean that you have money and Rolls Royces and all that. I think success means that you feel good within yourself and you feel peaceful. Wouldn't you say that? What's success to you guys? Throw out a couple things for me. What's success?
Peace and peace of mind.
Peace and peace of mind, yes. And what else?
Health.
Health. That's success. I agree, right? Did you say?
I would say health, a way to give my gift.
And exactly, and a way to give your gift. And that's exactly what this gal's talking about. So deepen your spiritual connection. You know, begin to strengthening your connection with God, and it's knowing who you are at the core. And so when I'm watching this thing on any of these people that have been extremely successful, they know who they are. They're clear, they know, and they don't think, oh, they're not wishy-washy. I'm great at this and I'm going to keep going and I know I'm going to make it. So it's really about deepening your spiritual connection to spirit, but it's also deepening your connection to yourself and what your gifts are.
That's number one.
That's number one. So deepen your spiritual connection. And when you can be who you are without fear, then anything is possible. You know, one of the things that I like to watch is Dancing with the Stars, which is Patti LaBelle was on there. Did you see that when she was on? You know she's in her 70s, right? And she was on that show. Did you watch it, Joanne, when she was on there? She was amazing. And then she just gets up and starts singing, you know, and gave a concert. It was great. They didn't even plan it. So that was number one. So you got it? Deepen your spiritual connection. And that's with the divine, which is within you. Number two, take ownership of who you are. So really embrace who you are. And, you know, in Patti LaBelle's case, it means not making excuses, not blaming others. When you know who you are, can still be in love with all of you, both your light and darkness, you can own who you are. So what Patti LaBelle realized is that she needed to go off and do her own thing because she wanted to not just sing rock and roll. And I didn't realize that LaBelle was only rock and roll. She wanted to sing ballads and she wanted to sing different things, you know, and expand herself. So she knew intuitively that it was time to move on. She had a talk with the girls and said, you know, we can always come back together, but I really want to branch out and do this. And they said, okay, great. And they broke up very nicely, and we're still great friends after that. So take full ownership of who you are, because she knew that she's a singer to the core and that she wanted to sing the rest of her life. It's what drives her. Number three is understanding that your purpose is who you are, not what you do. So on this one, I like this. It says, how do I find my purpose? It's not hiding under a rock. You don't need to search for it because it's always been with you. And that's so true. There's something inherent within you and you're great at it. And you can tell me, if I walked up to each one of you, what are you really great at, okay? I found that I'm the most alive when I'm helping others deepen their awareness about themselves. Or if you're on the quest to finding your purpose, think of your most recent memory where you felt the most alive and happy. That's your purpose. Is that easy? Because it's like everybody, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And it's like, oh my gosh, just look at yourself and you'll realize that. So what were you doing? Who were you being? Begin with understanding that your purpose is a state of being. So what you are, and you know, for me, I know that I love communicating with people, but the other part is I love getting to understand about people. And I think part of my purpose, and maybe that's why I'm a minister. So number four, okay, everybody got number three, understanding that your purpose is who you are, not what you do. Does that make sense? And number four is commit to realizing, redefining, and realigning your vision. Which
Say
is,
that again.
four is commit to realizing, redefining, and realigning your vision. You need that again?
Yeah.
Okay, commit to realizing, redefining, and realigning your vision, which is what Denise and Roxy were doing yesterday. If you need it again, let me know. Your vision can be as big or small as you want it to be, right? The important thing here is to have your vision and purpose be aligned. Once you uncover your purpose and who you are being in the world, the next step would be to ask yourself, well, if this is who I am in the world, then what would I be doing?
That's number five.
Yeah, that's number four.
Okay.
So your vision is the reason you wake up every day and you call it your big juicy goal. What's the legacy that you want to leave behind? So, you know, I was coaching, or when I'm doing practitioner work, what gets you to jump out of bed? What gets you to feel excited? And I realized that your vision changes over the time that you live, right? And so when you do this, it's like, God, what really gives me juice? You know, and I realized that, oh my goodness, probably somebody calling about the place, yeah. Anyway, anyway, so what I realized is that it changes. And so go ahead and roll with that. So maybe you're going to enhance your practice, or maybe you're going to shift your career a little bit, because I know Joanne took on managing again, which you did a long time ago, and she's doing it again. And, you know, are you trying to bring, and you teach singing, right?
Piano.
Piano. So is it, how can I create more of students to come to me, or what would I do in order to create more of that? And you love what you do, right?
I do know.
Okay. So it's like being that, and really look at your vision and how do I feel? You know, right now I'm in this creative mode and I have all these ideas coming in, and I've never been that way. And so now it makes me happy to be creative. Now, is that a big vision? Yeah, because what that allows me to do is tap in and connect to my God self. Because as I do that and I'm creating, you know, that's what happens, right? Okay, number 5, we've got 6, yeah, 5 and 6. Number 5, being a conscious creator, which is exactly what we teach in Science of Mind, to be a conscious creator. You know, one of the things that we read, and I wrote it in my prayer, I was giving Roxy the prayer for next week, is that we have to be aware of our thoughts, what we're thinking, and how we want to create. So the girls will come up and say, you know, Rev, that really is kind of negative and we need to change it. I'm like, okay, that's being a conscious creator. Because the words that we say, if it has a meaning for you, and it obviously for them, for me it didn't bother me, but it bothered them, I'm happy to change it because that's okay. And it's being a conscious creator. I would feel better if it was this. Fantastic, let's do it, okay?
That's
So-
being open-minded too, and not just having your own ego.
Oh, yeah, please. I learned more that way. To be a conscious creator of your world means you need to be taking committed action. It means that you are aware, awake in your life, aware of your purpose and your vision, and are willing to do whatever it takes to have the life that you want. Joan Baez says, action is the antidote to despair. So true. If you're feeling stuck in any area of your life, get moving and take action. Isn't that the truth? Like we're sitting at home going, pity party. It's like, well, you know, what can I do to get myself out of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the last one is be responsible for the energy in your space. And I like what she says here. Everything is energy. Money, love, fear, God, the universe, your thoughts, words, and actions, all of it's energy. And Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, she's the one that, My Stroke of Insight, do you remember reading that book?
Yeah.
She said, a sign that is now hanging in our office reads, please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
Wow.
This is in Oprah's office. This simple piece of wisdom can be life-changing if you apply it not only to the energy that you are allowing in, but also to the energy that you're putting out to the universe. Notice how you are showing up in your life. What kind of thoughts do you wake up with? Oh, that's a good one. How do you wake up? Oh, good God, it's morning. Or, oh, God, it's morning. So see the difference in that? And what kind of, when something goes unexpected, do you usually blame yourself or someone else? Remember that your thoughts, words, and actions, when aligned, will produce unimaginable success in your life. So I really thought about that, and I thought about how my tenant, you know, is booking and booking and booking. She's on commercials. And I'm always so happy for her. I'm so happy because I love watching people be successful, don't you? How do you feel when you see somebody who's successful? I think at some point I used to be like, no, and now I'm like, oh no, how cool. Because if it can happen for them, it can happen for me, right? And so that energy of putting that out into the universe is what's going to create success in our lives. So it's like, let's put that energy out, yes? All right, so
So how would you summarize number 6?
number 6, how would I summarize it?
Or what's one main sentence?
One main sentence, everything is energy. Money, love, fear, God, the universe, your thoughts, words, and actions. So write this one down, write down that sign that she sent her.
Yeah.
Please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space. Please take responsibility. You want a guy say that? Please take responsibility for the energy you bring into your space. And if you remember that, it's fantastic. So I want to close with a few of, and this is more about energy. The last thing, and I'm gonna add a number 7. Yeah, I am. Because if you say affirmations or statements of truth, it's going to shift you. So I've told you so many times over the last 10 years I've been here that I'll put a sign up on my computer, and I love marketing. I used to hate marketing. I love marketing now. So it goes into your subconscious mind, and it will shift you. So a couple of things that was in Spiritual Economics. How many of you have read that book? It's like a classic, okay? And I'll have to teach it again. But it's such a great book because it's so well done. It's my favorite Eric Butterworth book. But, you know, we were doing yes, yes, yes. So it says you'll always receive what you actually expect. Faith is your constant, and I could give you guys a copy of this. By saying yes. Faith is saying yes. Prosperity is spiritual well-being. So a couple of them, I'm just going to give you a couple to close out. God is my instant, constant, and abundant source of supply. You like that one?
Yes.
I love that. Okay? And I'm gonna read like 3 more. I establish myself in the limitless substance of God, and I have abundance. Ooh, is that a good one? Okay, and then here's the last one I'm going to share with you. I see myself. This is important because as we vision, you're allowing yourself to have God's vision through you. Because God's always like, we can be multi-billionaires, but we have to believe that it can happen. I see myself experiencing great success, for I am born to win. Okay, let's say that. I'm going to close out with that. So repeat after me. I see myself experiencing great success, for I am born to win. Okay, let's say it again. I see myself experiencing great success, for I am born to win. And so it is. Woo!
What a nice sermon.
Thank you. So thank you, everybody. Mwah. Peace and blessings, and enjoy your week, and get out there and up-level your success. And we have a solo